Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our Math Online Classroom, and please don't forget to click the subscribe button. Okay, so again, we're still with our lesson 3, and finally, we are with our division. So our objectives are the following: review long and synthetic division methods. We also have perform division of functions and solve problem involving functions. Okay, so let's start here. In dividing expression, please take note that we subtract the exponents of the same coefficients. So why we do subtract? Okay, let's have this illustration. 12x squared y to the fifth power over 4xy squared. So first, let's have the factoring, or let's factor out our coefficients. For 12, we have 3 times 4. For x, we have x times x. For y, of course, we have y. Okay, so limang y times y. Okay, and for our denominators, we have, of course, copy na lang natin yung 4 kasi may pwede tayong makancel ng 4 sa taas. For x, let's copy x. And for y, we have y times y. Okay? So, this illustration, no, this factoring, will show you kung bakit we subtract. Okay? Will show you kung bakit nagsasubtract tayo. Okay? Let's do the cancellation. 4 and 4, x and x, y, and y. Okay? So, natira na lang as our final answer will be 3xy cubed. So, titingnan nyo yung ating x variable, 1 na lang, x raised to 1, kasi nga, x squared divided by x will be x. So, ibig sabihin 2 minus 1 yung exponent. And for our y, cube na lang yung natira kasi nga 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. That's why y cube. So, pag alam nyo na, we subtract lang naman pala the exponent. So, therefore, hindi mo na kailangan mag-factor ng y, ng x. You can go directly to subtraction of the same coefficients. Okay? So, ganun na siya kasimple. All right? Okay, let's go. Okay, so definition. Let f and g be functions. Number 4 na tayo. Their quotient denoted by f divided by g, or f over g is the function denoted by f over g of x is equal to f of x over g of x. Okay, so this time we will tackle first long division and synthetic division before we move on to rational expression. Okay, so let's review first. Let's have this example. F over g of x is equal to x squared plus 11x plus 30 over x plus 5. So we will use long division and synthetic division para ma-refresh ang ating memory. Okay? So of course, we have x squared plus 11x plus 30 divided by x plus 5. So, okay? So parang nagdi-divide lang din naman kayo way back nung elementary days. Okay? Parang nagdi-divide. So this time in long division, diba, we are focusing on the first term. Okay, so x squared divided by x. Okay, again, x squared divided by x will give us x. Okay, so after the division, we now proceed to multiplication. So we multiply the quotient x to our divisor x plus 5. So we will using distributive property of multiplication. So x times x will give us x squared, and x times 5 will give us 5x. Okay, nakuha ba yung distributive property? So, divide, sulat ng sagot sa taas, pabalik sa baba, multiply, and then of course, we will do subtraction, di ba? And we discussed already in subtraction that in subtracting expression, we change the signs of our subtrahend. Okay? So, papalitan natin ng sign ang ating subtrahend. So, yung x squared mo magiging negative x squared at yung positive 5x mo magiging negative 5x. Okay? So, na-remember nyo ba yung ating subtraction na class before? Okay? So, let's subtract. Of course, x squared minus x squared is 0. And 11x minus 5x will give us 6x. Okay? So after na nag-subtract tayo, yung pinaka-favorite nating lahat is yung bring down. Okay? So we will bring down positive 30. Okay? Yan yung process. Yung parang division tayo before ng elementary. Di ba? Divide, multiply, minus, bring down. Divide, multiply, minus, bring down. Yan din yung process natin ngayon. Okay? So now let's move on to division ulit. So 6x divided by x. 6x divided by x will give us 6. Okay, so bakit naging 6 na lang? Kasi nga, x, di ba, may 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So, 1 pa rin siya. So, just copy the whole number or the numerical coefficient 6. And then, after the division, we proceed to multiplication. So 6 times x will give us 6x, and 6 times 5 will give us 30. Okay, and then we proceed to subtraction. But first, we have to change the sign of our subtrahend. So 6x minus 6x is 0, and 30 minus 30 will give us 0. And then, since wala na tayong i-bring down, we will stop at that, and our final answer will be x plus 6 as our quotient. Okay, that is long division. Okay? Now, ano naman yung synthetic? Okay? Yung synthetic kasi para sa akin isa sa pinakamadaling klase ng pag-divide or way ng pag-divide. Kasi yung ginukuha lang natin dito is yung numerical coefficient or yung whole number ng ating subtrahend. Okay? So, yung subtract natin sa x squared, ano yung whole number dyan? Of course, it is 1. Okay? So, sa 11x, ano yung whole number? 11. And sa 30, of course, yung whole number niya is 30. So, ganun na siya kadali. We'll just get the whole number in the expression or the numerical coefficients. Okay? Sige. Divided by, of course, our divisor is x plus 5. So, of course, we will have 5 over 1. Okay? So, bakit 5? Kasi 5 yung ating last term. At bakit may 1? Kasi yung x natin is may 1 dyan, di ba? So, that is 5 over 1. Okay, so bakit negative? Di ba, we remember that in subtraction, we change the sign of our subtrahend. That's why, kung positive yung ating subtrahend, tama. That's why, positive yung ating divisor, gagawin agad nating negative. Okay? Para mabilis. Okay? Hindi tayo mahirapan sa sign. So therefore, we change the sign of our divisor. Okay? Sige. Negative 5 over 1, pwede natin siyang i-simplify into negative 5 lang. Okay? So, pwede natin siyang i-simplify into negative 5 lang. Kasi negative 5 divided by 1 is still negative 5. Okay? So, paano siya gagawin? Of course, step 1, bring down. Ano yung bring down natin? Yung 1. Okay? Yung step 1 agad natin is bring down lang. Napakadali. Bring down. So, after we bring down, negative times tayo. Times. Okay? Multiply. 1 times negative 5. Again, multiply. 1 times negative 5 will give us negative 5. I-align natin siya sa ating next coefficient. Next. 11 minus 5 will give us positive 6. Okay? 11 minus 5 is positive 6, and then proceed na naman tayo sa multiplication. 6 times negative 5 will give us negative 30. So 30 minus 30 will give us 0. So 1, 6, and 0. Yan na yung mga whole number natin or bagong coefficient. And then titingnan mo yung dividend natin. Dividend pala to. Okay? Dividend natin. Yung pinakamataas ng exponent is 2. Okay? Or squared. So, yung gagawin natin sa ating final answer, magma-minus 1 lang tayo sa greatest degree or greatest exponent ng ating dividend. Okay? So, squared siya. So, minus 1. So, 1 na lang yung matitira. So, magiging x na lang yung magiging variable or exponent ng variable ng ating first term sa ating sagot. So that will be 1x plus 6 or x plus 6, which is parehas sa sagot ng ating long division. Okay? So to check if our quotient is correct, of course, we will do the FOIL method. I-multiply natin yung quotient natin and ating divisor. Okay? So x plus 5 and x times 6. Okay? Multiply natin x plus 5 and x plus 6. So x times x will give us x squared. X times 6 will give us 6x. 5 times x, 5x. 5 times 6 is 30. Combined like terms. 6 plus 5 will give us 11x. So therefore, our quotient is correct kasi bumalik tayo sa ating original expression. Okay? So let's have another example. F of x is equal to 2x squared minus 3x minus 35 over 2x plus 7. Okay? So we will do the long division and synthetic division in this example. Okay? Sige. Let's divide. 2x squared minus 3x minus 35 divided by 2x plus 7. Of course, again, yung focus natin dito is sa first term basta sa long division. Ano yung first term natin? 2x squared. 2x squared divided by 2x will give us x. Okay? So x, and then after the division is multiply, diba? Okay? So x times 2x plus 7 will give us 2x squared plus 7x. So paano yon? X times 2x will give us 2x squared, and x times 7 will give us 7x. That is distributive property of multiplication. So divide, multiply, and then of course we will subtract. Okay? Since nasa-subtract na tayo nga, we will change the sign of our subtrahend. Change the sign of our subtrahend. Okay? So 2x minus 2x, 2x squared minus 2x squared will give us 0. Negative 3x and negative 7x will give us negative 10x. Okay, bakit naging negative 10? Kasi 7 plus 3 is 10. So bakit tayo nag-plus? Kasi nga same yung sign. Same silang negative. So we will add or combine and then follow the sign of the both of them. So of course, after subtraction, ano nga? Bring down. Okay, bring down negative 35 and then proceed na naman tayo sa division. Negative, of course, first term lang. Negative 10x divided by 2x will give us negative 5x. Okay? Negative 10x divided by 2x will give us negative x. Sulat mo sa quotient sa taas. So after division, we will proceed with multiplication. So negative 5 times 2x and negative 5 times 7. Distributive property will give us negative 10x minus 35. So negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 7 will give us negative 35. And of course, we'll proceed to subtraction. Of course, we change the sign of our subtrahend. So positive 10 minus 10 will give us 0, and negative 10 plus 35 will give us also 0. So our final answer will be x minus 5. Now let's check naman with our synthetic division kung magkakaroon tayo ng kaparehong sagot. Okay, ano nga? We will take the numerical coefficient or the whole number of every terms in expression. Okay, so first term is 2x squared. Ano yung whole number? Of course, that is 2. Second term is, of course, negative 3. And the last term is negative 35 divided by what? Divided by, of course, 7 over 2. Okay. So, bakit 7? Kasi may 7 yung last term natin. And bakit 2? May 2 yung first term natin. At bakit negative? Kasi nga, we have to change the sign or the opposite sign of our divisor. Okay? Of our divisor. Okay? So, ano ay step 1? Ano yung step 1 natin? Bring down. Ano yung bring down natin? 2. Okay, bring down 2. And then what's next? Multiply. Okay, we multiply 2 times negative 7 over 2. So, paano siya gagawin? Diba? 2 times 7 will, 2 times 7 will give us 14. 14 divided by 2 will give us, of course, negative 7. Again, 2 times negative 7 will give us negative 14. Negative 14 divided by 2 na nasa ilalim ng 7 will give us negative 7. And then combine, negative 3 and negative 7 will give us negative 10. Okay, negative 3 plus negative 7 will give us negative 10. And then of course, multiply naman tayo. Negative 10 times negative 7 will give us positive 70. Again, negative times negative is positive. So negative 10 times negative 7 will give us positive 70. Divide by 2 will give us positive 35. And negative 35 plus 35 will give us 0. Okay? So kung napapansin nyo, bakit malayo or bakit iba yung sagot? Kasi ano pa yung gagawin natin? We will divide them by 2 pa. Okay? Bakit we will divide by 2? Kasi nga, yung first term ng ating divisor is 2x. So mayroon 2 na numerical coefficient. Therefore, i-divide natin siya sa 2. Okay? So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Of course, nakikita nyo sa long division, parehas na sila. Of course, yung greatest integer ng ating first term sa dividend is squared. So, minus 1 lang. So, magiging x na lang. Okay? So, 1x minus 5 and that will be our final answer or x minus 5 na lang. Okay? So, parehas sila ng sagot. Yung long division and synthetic division. So, paano nga i-check ulit? Of course, FOIL method. FOIL method ng ating quotient at ng ating divisor. So 2x times x will give us 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 will give us negative 10x. 7 times x will give us 7x. And 7 times negative 5 will give us negative 35. So combined like term, negative 7x and 7, negative 10x and 7x will give us negative 3x. So 2x squared minus 3x minus 35 will be our final answer. So nagbalik tayo sa ating expression. Ibig sabihin, our answer or quotient is correct. Okay? Sige. I think we're ready to continue. Okay, let's continue by example number 1. Find the quotient of f over x over g of x is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 5x plus 4 over x squared plus 2x minus 18. Okay, so rational na tayo. So of course, quadratic and quadratic, babalik tayo sa multiplication na lesson, we will factor. Okay, we will factor out our first term, we will factor, and of course, our second term, ipa-factor din natin, or yung numerator and denominator ay ipa-factor natin. Okay, let's start with the numerator. Of course, the factor of x squared is x times x. The factor of positive 4 with respect to the middle term na 5 is 4 times 1 and negative 4 and negative 1. So, saan dyan sa mga factors na yan ang gagamitin natin? Of course, that is 4 times 1. Bakit? Kasi 4 times 1 will give us positive 4 at when we combine 4 plus 1 will give us 5 na yun din yung ating middle number. Okay? So positive 4 and positive 1 will be the factor of our numerator. Excuse me. Okay, so next, let's factor our denominator. X squared, of course, x and x. Factor of our negative 8 with respect to our middle term, that is 2. Factors of negative 8 na kapag kinumbine, ang sagot is positive 2. Is it 4 times negative 2 or negative 4 times negative 2? Of course, that is 4 and negative 2. Kasi yung sign ng positive ng 2 natin sa middle term is positive. So yung gagawin na lang natin, if ano yung sign ng negative sign, kung ano yung sign ng ating middle number, usually nilagay natin yan sa greater number if factor. Okay? So, kailangan positive yung bigger number. Okay? So, positive 4 and negative 2 yung magiging factor. Now, we will move on to cancellation. So, x plus 4 cancel. So, natitira na lang is x plus 1 over x minus 2 and that will be our final answer. Okay? Sige. Okay, let's proceed. Example number 2. 27 over x or divide by x minus 27 over x minus 3 divided by 9x over x squared minus 2x minus 3. So ito na, division of rational expression. Okay, rational expressions na tayo. So take note that in dividing rational expression, our divisor is kinukuha natin yung kanyang reciprocal and then we will proceed to multiplication. When we say reciprocal, babalik ta rin natin. Ibig sabihin, yung numerator mo magiging denominator at yung denominator mo magiging numerator. Okay? Ano yung binabaliktad? Yung divisor lang. Okay? So yung 27 over x minus 3 remain siya ng ganyang posisyon. 27x over x minus 3 is in the same position. Ano yung babalik rin natin? Yung kanyang divisor. Yung x squared minus 2x minus 3, yung kanina denominator siya, ngayon nagiging numerator. Yung 9x naman na numerator nagiging denominator. And then we will proceed to multiplication. And of course, we will start with factoring. Okay? So, we will factor our first factor. First term, 27x over x minus 3. Of course, yung x minus 3 simplified na siya, so ikakopy nila natin ng x minus 3. Yung 27, supposedly, simplified na siya kasi wala naman siyang degree na 2 or more. Okay? Pero dahil merong 9x, nakikita natin na pwede silang divide or may something na pwedeng i-factor out at ma-cancel later on, i-factor natin yung 27. And that will be 9x times 3. So 9x times 3 will give us 27x. Okay, so bakit siya, again, bakit natin siya finactor? Kasi nakita natin doon yung 9x na pwede silang i-factor or na mayroon silang common factor together. Of course, we will factor the second term, okay? Or the second factor. So 9x, i-at-is na natin yung 9x and we will factor the numerator x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, so factor. The factor of x squared, of course, is x, and the factor of negative 3 with respect to the middle term, that is negative 2. Ano yung factor ng negative 3? Na kapag kinumbine natin, of course, that is it 3 times negative 1 or is it negative 3 times negative 1? Okay, saan dyan yung sagot na tama? Okay? So, yung technique nga, ano, titingnan mo yung sign ng gitna. Ano yung sign ng middle term? That is negative. So, kailangan kung negative siya, kung ano yung pinakamalaking number sa mga factors, yun dapat yung sign ng bigger number. So, negative 3 dapat. So, yung negative na sign na pupunta sa bigger number, that is negative 3 times 1. Therefore, yung factor niya is negative 3 and positive 1. Okay? So, we will now proceed to cancellation. So, ika-cancel natin yung ano, x minus 3 and x minus 3, 9x and 9x. So, yung matitira na lang is 3 times x plus 1 kasi 3 natitira and then x plus 1 sa kabila. Yung sa baba naman is 1. Okay? Kasi naubos silang lahat so automatic may 1 yan. Or you can have your final answer as 3 of times x plus 1. Okay? So, no need, pwede nang tanggalin yung 1. And that could be your final answer. Okay ba yan? Sige. Next, let's proceed. Example number 3. Wow. So this is an example of quadratic, no? Quadratic lahat. Sige. So 2x squared plus x minus 6 over 2x squared plus 7x plus 5 divided by x squared minus 2x minus 8 over 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. Again, ano nga? We will get the reciprocal of our divisor. Okay, reciprocal, ibig sabihin, babalik ta rin. So, yung denominator, magiging numerator, at yung numerator na x squared minus 2x minus 8, magiging denominator, and then we will proceed to multiplication. Okay? So, isa sa mga challenging dito talaga is yung pagfa-factor. Okay? Kasi yung factor yung first term natin dito is may 2. Kasi nasanay tayo na 1. Okay? So, ito yung medyo trabaho. Okay? Matrabaho. Okay? So, bakit? So, let's factor the first numerator muna ng ating sa right side, left side rather. Okay? So, the factor of 2x squared, of course, it's 2x and x. Kasi 2x times x is 2x squared. Na pwede mo siyang ilagay sa kabila, yung 2x pwede din sa kabila. Depende sa'yo. Okay? So, ako kasi nasanay ako na 2x lagi nilalagay and then x yung nasa kabila. Next, we'll factor negative 6 with respect to the middle term, but this time with also respecting our first term. Bakit? Kasi nga, dito lalabas yung trial and error na factors ng negative 6. Okay? Pero yung technique na lang is, focus pa rin tayo sa factoring negative 6 with respect to the middle term, pero hindi siya gumagana kasi nga, yung first term natin is hindi 1. Okay, may number siya. Okay? So what is the factor of negative 6 with respect to the middle term and the first term? Okay? So pipiliin lang tayo is negative 2 times negative 3 kasi yung labas niyan is negative 6 at saka positive 1. Okay? Kung 1 sana yung 2x squared na yan, kung x squared lang sana, tama na yung factor na yan. Or negative 3 times negative 2. Okay? So, na-try ko yung negative 6 times 1, hindi siya gumana. Mali siya foil. Okay? Na-try ko rin yung negative 2 times 3, which is, yan yung pinakasaktong factor sana ng negative 6 with respect to the middle term, hindi rin gumana. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan talaga dito is yung trial and error. Kailangan talaga dito magiging masipag ka. Okay? So, na-try ko yung negative 3 times negative 2, nagtama yung FOIL method. Okay? So, yung factor ng negative 6 and ng factor ng 2x squared plus x and negative 6 is negative 3 and positive 2. Bakit? Okay? Ito, i-check natin. Okay? So, let's say for example, iyan na yung factor natin. Nilagay mo yung positive 2 at saka negative 3. Okay? We will use the FOIL method para manap yung middle term. Okay? 2 times x will give us 2x. 2x times negative 3 will give us negative 6x. That will give us negative 4x. So negative 4x, yan ba yung middle term natin? Hindi. Kasi yung middle term natin is positive x. So ibig sabihin, mali yung positioning mo. Okay? Mali yung positioning mo. So ibig sabihin, babaliktarin mo o ililipat mo yung negative 3 sa 2x. Okay? So yung negative 3 mo ililipat mo sa 2x at yung positive 2 ilalagay mo lang sa x. So, check natin kung tama. Negative 3x, negative 3 times x will give us negative 3x, and 2x times 2 will give us 4x. So, i-combine mo, your answer will be positive 1x, which is correct or equal sa ating middle term. So, ibig sabihin yung tamang positioning is 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. So, ibig sabihin, yan na yung magiging factor mo. Okay? So, 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. Kasi na-checking natin. Okay? So, yan yung mahirap dyan kasi nga, you will going to have your trial and error. Okay? So, yung mapapayo ko lang is that sa negative 6, di ba, yung factor niya is negative 6 and 1, or it could be negative 3 and 2. So, dun tayo sa malapit sa middle term. Dun tayo sa malapit sa middle term. Huwag mo nang itry yung negative 6 and 1 kasi medyo malayo sa middle term. So, mag-try ka lang ng trial and error, magbaliktad ng sign is dun malapit sa middle term. Okay? Sige. As we go along, hopefully makukuha natin yan. Okay, next. Factor the denominator. 2x squared plus 7x plus 5. Of course, the factor of 2x squared is 2x and x. Okay? Let's factor 5 with respect to the middle term and the last term. Kung napapansin nyo, yung factor ng 5 lang naman is 5 and 1. But when you combine 5 and 1 will give us only 6. And napakalayo sa 7 na middle term. Okay, so dyan napapasok yung trial and error. So saan dyan yung gagamitin mo? Negative 5 and negative 1 or positive 5 and positive 1. Okay, so since positive yung middle term natin, we will just make use of positive factors. Okay, so now i-check mo na lang yung positioning. Saan mo ilalagay si 5, saan mo ilalagay si 1. Okay, so try natin na si 1 napunta sa 2 at si 5 napunta sa x. Check natin. So 1 times x is 1x. 2x times 5 will give us 10x. So when we combine, 11x. So yung 11x, yung middle term natin is 7x. So mali. Okay? So we'll try the other way. Okay? So si 1 ilalagay natin, si 5 ilalagay natin sa 2x at si 1 ilalagay natin sa x. And let's check. 5 times x will give us 5x and 2x plus 1 will give us 2x. So when we combine, it will give us 7x, which is correct or tama sa ating denominator. Therefore, yung tamang positioning is 2x plus 5 and x plus 1. Okay? So that will be our factor of the denominator. Okay? So, next. Ito na. 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. So we'll factor first 2x, of course, 2x and x. Next. Factor of negative 20 with respect to negative 3. Okay? And of course, kailangan with respect also to our first term for the positioning. Okay? So yung pinili or pipilian ng factor na lang is 4 times negative 5 and 5 and negative 4. Kasi lahat yan kapag multiply mo, yung sagot niya is negative 20. So hindi ko na sinama sa choices yung 10 times 2 kasi 10 times 2, di ba, is also 20. Pero kasi yung 10 times 2, pag kinumbine mo, is 8, 8 or 12 yung magiging sagot. At napakalayo na sa negative 3 or sa 3 na middle term. So dun tayo sa pinakamalapit na lang. The 4 minus 5 and 5 and negative 4 para mas magiging madali yung paghahanap. Okay? Yan na lang yung technique na discover ko. Okay? Sige. So, ano dyan gagamitin? Of course, na-try ko yung dalawa at lumabas na lang is, yung tamang lumabas is si 5 and negative 4. Okay? So, yung tanong na lang is yung positioning. Saan natin ilalagay si 5? Saan natin ilalagay si negative 4? Si 5 ba sa 2x? Okay? Or sa negative 4? Try mo natin si negative 4 nilagay sa 2x at si x naman sa 5. So negative 4 times x will give us negative 4x and 2x times 5 will give us 10x. Okay? Combined will give us negative 6 at which is hindi siya yung kanyang middle term. I-try naman natin na baliktarin. Si 2x plus 5 at si x minus 4. Si negative 4 ilagay natin sa x. Check natin. 5x is 5 times x will give us 5x. 2x times negative 4 will give us negative 8x. When we combine, it will give us negative 3x, which is tama or lumabas yung ating middle term. So, ibig sabihin yung tamang positioning is 2x plus 5 and x minus 4 as the correct position at factor ng ating 2x squared minus 3x plus 20. Okay? Sige. Ay, salamat. Next, ito, x squared minus 2x minus 8. So, ito, medyo madali siyang i-factor kasi nga, walang, 1 lang yung first term natin. No? 1 yung first term natin. Okay? So, factor of x, of course, is x and x. The factor of negative 8 with respect to the middle term, ano yung factor? Of course, yung pipiliin mo dyan is ano? Okay, of course, negative 4 and positive 2. Kasi nga, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 4 plus 2 will give us negative 2, which is our middle term. So, hindi mo na kailangan maggulo-gulo pa. Okay? So, negative 4 and positive 2 as our factor. Okay? So, yun. Madali lang siya kapag 1 yung first term natin. Pero pag may mga 2 kasi, or greater than 1, yung numerical coefficient ng ng first term natin, you will go talaga or you will go under trial and error sa paghahanap ng factor. So, mag-pray na lang kayo na lahat ng first term is 1. Okay? Sige. So, let's go to cancellation. Cancel x plus 2 and x plus 2, 2x plus 5 and 2x plus 5. What else? Of course, x minus 4 and x minus 4. So, ano na lang yung natira? Yung natira na lang sa numerator is 2x minus 3 at sa baba naman is x plus 1 and that will be your final answer. Okay? So, dun lang nakaka-challenge talaga sa factoring kapag hindi 1 yung first term. So, kailangan talaga magiging masipag ka, patience at the same time. So, kasi trial and error. Okay? So, hopefully, hindi sumakit yung ulo nyo. Okay? So, of course, our references, and of course, if you want the soft copy of the presentation, just feel free to message me in my Gmail account. Okay? God bless everyone.